Hi, my name's Stuart Walker from RMS, and today I'm going to give you an update on the latest motion amplification software released by RDI Technologies. So in the last 6 months we've had two fantastic updates, version 3.1 and version 3.2. So I'm going to start with version 3.1. We've got triggering, live region of interest, long-term record, and HDR, high density recording. Let's start with triggering. So this is a fantastic tool if you're trying to trigger the start of a recording, you're not sure when it's going to start, and we can actually put in a pre-trigger, so a buffer in the data, and then a post-trigger for how long you want to record. So we've got a little fan here, you arm the system, it starts to buffer, and then it's live. We then see the machine start, press the icon, and it's recorded the pre and post buffer. Fantastic tool, great for things like bump tests as we're seeing here, and then we can obviously isolate the individual frequencies. This is a filtered reading of a bump test. It's really great for capturing these transient events. Machine startup, this is a fan going through a resonance problem as it increases in speed, and then we can do detailed analysis afterwards. Really fantastic tool. Live region of interest, so this is where we can actually do a measurement in the live mode. This is really useful just to get a feeling of the different frequencies on the machine before we actually start saving recordings. So really nice, we get waveform, frequency data, we can look at the amplitude. Really useful tool, that. Long-term record. This is almost like a, I think like a time lapse, so we can actually do stuff like thermal growth over many hours. So we put a duration in. Here I'm going to put 180 minutes, but it could be as long as you want. And then how often do you want to capture an image? I've put 5 seconds here, but it could be minutes or hours. And then we set record, and then every 5 seconds in this case it's going to take an image, which will build a video, which we can then look at the data. And here was a turbine warming up, it was offline, and we're doing some thermal growth measurements over a long period of time. I think it was 2.5 hours. And then we can actually play the video, and the one on the right shows you the machine rocking backwards and forwards as it heated up, and there's the thermal growth measurements. We've also got the option now, if we've got a couple of ROIs, we can actually get measurements off those. And just like before, we can go into the waveform, but this time we can actually do what we call a difference plot. So we've got two thermal growth measurements there, or distances. We overlay, we go to a difference plot, lots of different options there. We click that, and then it shows the difference between the 2 points on how much movement has occurred. Really nice tool, that. Really nice. This is a big favourite of mine, use it all the time, high density recordings. So the standard MA is really good, but sometimes with the frame rate it might be slightly jerky. So with this we can take an ROI, get a frequency, and then actually if we go into filtering, it's just another filtering method this. We go into HDR, and then the key is we're going to lock into the frequency of interest. We're then going to add that to the system, and then I like to put probably 8 to 10 cycles, which is sort of the rotations. Apply that, and then that's going to process that, and now we're going to have a HDR recording, which is really, it's like super smooth, and you really see that extra detail. You can see the difference on the left and right. Fantastic tool this, highly recommend using this. Here's some examples. Great for vectors as well. The vectors, really smooth vector motion. We can see a pump here. So much detail when these have been HDR'd. Really cool. You just see the subtlety of the motion. So 3.2, that's just been released, and again some fantastic updates: color camera, Tack Sync, phase map, stabilization, and audio recordings. Let's go for the amazing color camera, which it's just got so much impact, I feel. I'm still going to use the black and white, but where needed I'll use the color if I just want that extra sort of communication really, because it really does jump out at you, the colour MA. You can do recordings on there the same as before, measurements, it's absolutely not a problem. The only slight thing, indoors you will need a little bit of extra light, but that is not a problem. And we've had some fantastic results with the colour camera. It really is amazing stuff. Next one is Tack Sync. This is amazing. So we're using an external tack. This is an add-on to the system back into the camera, and it's going to actually trigger a data capture every revolution on rotating component. Now you do need a bit of reflective tape on the component of interest, and as we see here, I've locked into this fan, the tack's pulling in the data 2200 RPM, and then I can actually set a number of cycles, frames to capture. So we could just, it does need quite a bit of light, this, so I do recommend you use external lights, and then we record the data and it's just capturing the reading every revolution. Now here's a coupling, this is rotating, and what we're doing here, that's the standard video, we're going to amplify it now, and we can actually see the coupling flexing. So this is the non-synchronous frequencies we're looking at. It removes the one times, okay? This is a fan impeller. We can see there's a little drill there. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to getting some industrial shots for this, but truly amazing. Phase map. So this is another cool tool. So we've got a bridge structure here. It's vibrating. We can see there's some motion there. But with the phase map, we can actually use, it's like a 360 degree colour of phase. So we lock into the frequency, and by colour, we can see what's in and out of phase. And then we can actually just highlight if we want. In this case, I'm doing the 180 degrees difference in phase. Really, really nice tool, very visual. Here's a couple example. These are 90 degrees out of phase, these two components. And again, I've just highlighted those frequencies and it overlays that colour. Got another example here. This is a motor rocking due to a bass problem. And you can see when we overlay that, real contrasting colours there. 180 degrees, drive end to non-drive end rocking there. And if you add a bit of transparency, you can even show a bit of the motion in the video. Stabilization, we've always had this, but there's been a great update with this, and I highly recommend you when using this, you stabilize the raw data. Don't filter and then stabilize. You need to stabilize the raw data, as I'm doing here, and then filter afterwards. So once you've used the stabilization, you can see it's improved massive, but then we can filter it. So what we'd do, we draw an ROI, region of interest, just get a frequency off there, and then as we normally do, quick method to get into filtering there, and we're going to filter the data just for that frequency. And apparently it's significantly improved this, and I've seen that in a few videos I've actually played with it. So great update there, definitely be using that. Audio recordings, this has been highly requested. So in Motion Studio, we can do lovely video reports, and now we can narrate over the top and add audio. This is fantastic, and again, it just increases the flexibility of the system. So what's great, you can do a constant recording if you want, or like I'm doing here, we're adding a couple of narrations to key points, and then you can move those about as well. I do recommend you do your full video first and then do the narration, or otherwise you can get out of sync a bit, but a great tool. If you require any more information on the motion amplification technology, please visit our website, rms-reliability.com. RDI Technologies also have a fantastic website too. Thank you.